Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because now we have a second Twilight Princess PC port in development going by the name of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Dusk. And if you've been watching the channel recently, you'll see I've been running a lot of previews on the builds that are available of Twilight Princess Courage Reborn. But honestly, in retro gaming, options are always good, so having two in-progress Twilight Princess PC ports coming your way sometime soon is some of the biggest big decomp energy we can talk about on the channel. And again, it's really good when there's multiple teams working on the same concept for a project, because it means in the end, retro gaming fans win. Because we've seen this with stuff like Star Fox 64 and the recomp and PC port. We've seen it with stuff like Ocarina of Time as well as Majora's Mask on the PC side of things. You get different versions of the same game with different development strategies, and that always is a great thing. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support this channel, got a Patreon link down below as well. What you're seeing right now is test footage from the Discord server showing gyro aiming within the game in and of itself, and if you take a look at the bottom right hand corner, you'll see they're using a DualSense wireless controller, and all of the gyro data, the X, Y, and Z data in fact is being ingested into the build, and you can actually aim just by moving your controller around. Now personally, that's not my favorite way to play stuff like this, but obviously Twilight Princess had both a GameCube and a Wii version of the game, so it seems like you're going to be getting some Wii functionality in here, at least with the gyro aiming, even though that wasn't something that the GameCube version ever did. So when you think about a 100% decompiled project, you end up in a situation where you can actually bring other things into the PC port that never would have actually been in the base game. Think of it almost like modifications to the engine and how things play versus how they actually played on GameCube. I think that definitely is going to make some people happy, because I've got a couple questions about gyro aiming on Courage Reborn, so it seems like something at least some people are interested in. But you tell me down below, gyro aiming yes or no when you play Twilight Princess? I would be curious. Because one of those things, the more options the better, and if you don't want to use something, you definitely don't have to use it. This is all going to be toggleable options within the PC port in and of itself, and I will show you some of those options in just a moment. But honestly, this is absolutely insane that not only is Twilight Princess 100% decompiled, but now we have two different ports in development at the same time. And as far as which ones are going to release first, when they're going to be done, again, absolutely no idea. But going through the Fire Temple there, going back to Courage Reborn, the previous video I ran, just so you know the footage has changed, it's so much fun to see two different implementations, because I would say they definitely look very similar while also looking slightly different at the same time. And this is going to mean that GameCube fans, Legend of Zelda fans, and Nintendo fans are going to absolutely win when you have two different ports of the same project on deck, because it's one of those things. You're going to see tons of mods, you're going to see tons of different features in each port, and you'll be able to kind of go through once they're both out, decide which one is for you. And I know both the teams on this actually get along really well, and there is no animosity. And if you're going to ask me when they're done which one is better, do be very well aware I do not compare fan projects against each other. I am happy that all of them exist, and it's one of those things. I will review retail games, I'll review retail hardware, but when it comes to fan ports and stuff like this, I'm happy to have everything, and I never actually judge them against each other. And you will see here, if we actually kind of scroll up into the top left hand corner of the screen in just a moment, some of the actual options menus. And maybe the eagle-eyed among you already noticed one that people ask for all the time, maybe you didn't, so let's pop back in, because you'll see here, if you go under game and graphics, you can move it over to 16:9 or keep it 4:3. But you can also turn on and off the native bloom within Twilight Princess, and I would say 50% of you absolutely hate that bloom and cannot stand it, and the other 50% of you feel like it's actually part of the game and you need to have it there. So it seems like on Dusk you're going to have the options as to do whatever you want, bloom on or bloom off, and I think that is a great thing, because for the people that hate it, they're going to be very happy, and for the people that think it really is part of the visual vibe of Twilight Princess, it seems like it's going to be there by default, so you should be 100% good to go. Let's move over to the first of two soundtrack samples of Dusk, that way you can hear what it sounds like, and I'll come back with a lot more test footage and talk about just how good this project's shaping up for in 2026. I mean, that definitely sounds like the Twilight Princess soundtrack sound effects and other voices or lack of voices, just grunts to me. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think. And you may have already noticed now this is running higher than 30 frames per second. It can get to 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second. But I am not aware whether or not that's being done in engine and actually drawing independent frames or using interpolation. Because as far as Twilight Princess is concerned, the game logic is tied to its refresh rate. And there really is two ways to kind of make a game and have to figure out how the logic works. You see it a lot on N64 and GameCube, even PlayStation 1, where the game will actually run internally at a certain frame rate and the game will have its speed set to that. So if you go from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, you end up running the game twice as fast as it should as far as the motion is concerned. And I could have asked the developers there, but really I wanted to ask you instead, do you think this is internal or do you think this is interpolation? Because I actually do know the answer to this. I want it to be a little bit of a quiz, because when interpolation is done right, you can't notice whatsoever, and when higher frame rates are done right, you couldn't notice because of course there wouldn't be any interpolation. So I am really curious, you leave your votes down below, extra frames or interpolation from 30 frames per second up to higher frame rates. And as we go back to the trailer they produce, I also mentioned To Bean Tachi, a YouTube channel that is basically making their entire channel about these ports, and I would mention them in the video. I left them a link in the description below, really fun person, so go ahead, watch their videos, and give them a subscription, because they're just basically getting their start on YouTube, so definitely give them a lot of hype, because it seems like their channel is going to be exclusively talking about Zelda stuff moving forward, and that is great, because I'd love to run even more videos on these previews, but there's so much stuff to talk about in any given week, I just can't get to it. And you'll see here some of the shield surfing there, as well as the actual Temple of Time. This is stuff that we showed you in Courage Reborn with the custom texture packs, and it's something that's going to be in Dusk as well. So it really does seem like you're going to have feature parity across both ports, and again, I really hope that both ports are absolutely as good as one another. That way the fan community, the Zelda fans and Nintendo fans out there win, because the more amazing PC ports we have, the better. Though I will say it seems like Dusk is targeting more platforms, including iOS, Android, and Linux, and I know that definitely makes more people happy. It totally makes sense to me that developers basically target Windows as the first and primary platform, because you develop for the largest installation base out there, but it's one of those things, if you can port it to other platforms, why not? Because definitely people out there on the Linux and Android side, especially, at least in my comments, are always asking when those ports are coming. Now, I have no idea when Dusk releases, whenever it does, whether or not you're going to get all of those available ports at the same time, or maybe they might come in succession, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But again, you see 120 frames per second here, you tell me, real frames or interpolation. I want to see who can actually get it, because it's pretty hard to actually tell what the answer is. And you'll see here, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Dusk, basically doing the same fun thing with the logo that Courage Reborn is. But let's do one more soundtrack sample so you can hear how Dusk is coming out in the audio department. Again, you will see here coming soon Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, and iOS, which would make a lot of non-Windows users very happy. But here comes the audio, and I'll be right back. Maybe a little crunchiness in the sound effect when the bow actually ends up shooting the arrow, but otherwise sounds great. And just so you know, we're watching Courage Reborn footage right here just to close out the video, for me to basically talk about the fact of how amazing it is that we have two different ports in the actual works at the same time. And that definitely is something I am excited to see, because absolutely everyone is excited when you get more than one way to play some of the best games of all time. And I like to say this is why retro gaming is making a comeback. So many different options, so many different developments in 2026. I think you're going to see see a lot more fun stuff come, especially from the Nintendo decomps this year as well. But do leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you play Twilight Princess back in the day? And if not, are you going to play it in a modern PC port? And if you did play it, are you excited to play it again or not? Because I would be curious. But honestly, I'm super excited to cover both of these projects, and I said on the channel I would cover Dusk when there was actually content to show, and we're here at that stage now, so that's why you're watching this video. Sure that if you have any questions or comments, so leave them down below. Otherwise, we're done. We're going to talk to the horror chicken right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.